I'm Brittany.
I'm Amy.
And I'm Katie, better known as Joyner.
We are three best friends and professionals, pediatric speech-language pathologists, and moms who try really, really hard. But we are by no means experts.
In many cases, we will be learning right along with you. The advice we offer is of a general nature and certainly does not replace the advice of a medical professional.
We hope you leave our conversation with something in your cup, whether it be laughter, new information, inspiration, a question. We hope we can fill your cup. Welcome to the Cup of Counsel podcast. Hey guys, welcome to Cup of Counsel podcast. Today our episode is called Matching Tattoos, and today we're going to be exploring friendship and what that means.
So Brittany, what's in your cup today?
In my cup is Chardonnay, as well as friendship, because this is episode 1. We're actually doing it. This is super exciting for all three of us. I can't believe this is actually happening, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just cleared my throat.
Let me clear my throat.
Do you know that that's my least favorite song? And at my bachelorette party, Joyner, do you remember?
No.
Oh, this is maybe the only part of my bachelorette party that I actually recall. But
That was a fun
they played
party.
this song. I absolutely hate this song. Hate it. And we were at this bar, like dance bar, and that song came on, and I went up to the DJ and I was like, vocal abuse. Vocal abuse. I hate this song because it's just about vocal
Now
abuse.
that
You're
you
not
mentioned
supposed to
this-
clear your throat.
Yes, now that you mentioned this, I do remember that. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
somebody go get her.
I
And
thought
I
that
remember
the DJ
hearing about that.
cared that I
We have so
that
many
I was an
vocal abuse.
SLP that
we have so many DJ stories and
Yes, we do.
encounters with them at places.
we do have lots of DJ encounters. That's true.
We apparently like to interact with the DJs at the nightclubs.
Remember
that we
they
attend.
built an entire booth around the DJ area of our graduate school bar because I kept breaking
Because
in
of-
to play the song I wanted to be played.
But we came back and they had put up the whole door so you couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. That was a little off topic, but you had to just sing my least favorite song in the whole planet. Anyway, Brittany.
Okay, so in my cup is Chardonnay as well as friendship because this is our first episode and we're really excited. Our first 3 episodes are going to be a little bit different than what you'll hear in the future because we figured we should have our first 3 kind of describe what you will be hearing. So our main points for this podcast is to discuss mommy life, being speech pathologists, and what all that entails, and friendship. So those are our 3 main points, and these first 3 episodes are going to focus on those 3 points, and our first one is friendship. So how about we start off with introducing ourselves to our listeners? Joyner, tell us why we call you Joyner.
So Joyner is actually my maiden name. And when I met you guys, that was my last name. And I went by Joyner in high school and then it just carried on and you guys called me Joyner also in graduate school. So it's weird for me to be called by my first name by you guys. It doesn't sound normal
It is.
or natural. So
And my mouth can't actually say
Katie?
Katie.
No, it's
Can't
just
do
J.
it.
J.
Doesn't happen.
So usually, it's J. So that is one thing we should tell you guys because you will be extremely confused on if there's 4 people here because there is a Katie and a Joyner and I go by Joyner. So I think this is great that we introduce ourselves so that you guys, our listeners, have an idea of who we are and where we live and what we do and more about us. So I am from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm actually from Dayton, Ohio, but I now live in Cleveland, Ohio. I am currently working in a preschool setting and an elementary school setting as a speech pathologist. I absolutely love it. I love working with the students and with the teachers. And I have 2 little boys and 2 dogs. and genuinely just are living a very crazy life at all times, I feel like, but loving every minute. I call it organized chaos. And I am so excited to be able to do something like this with two of my best friends.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
We're excited too.
So excited.
We're really excited about these microphones.
This makes us feel really special.
Yeah. So we probably won't edit this stuff out. So just enjoy it.
While it lasts.
While it lasts.
I think we love how it sounds when we're so close to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's it.
So we're all a little bit goofy, in case anyone was wondering.
I guess you could call it that.
Amy just stared like, what? Not goofy.
I don't really like that word. See, anyway.
Why?
It's okay. I don't know. I just have a thing with certain words, and that's one of them.
Okay. You like the word naughty. You say that.
That's the Minnesota thing.
There's a lot of Minnesota things that we're not used to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I get called out on quite a few of those. So I'll go, I guess, since we're making fun of my Minnesotan accent, or words or whatever.
Go ahead now.
Go ahead now.
Okay, now I will go here. No, that's not it. I can't even do it. See? It doesn't exist. So I'm Amy, and I live in Minnesota, and I love it here, and I get made fun of for that. I will never move anywhere else. I love it here so much. I live.
Do you love it there?
I love it here so much. Not going anywhere. I live kind of in the middle of the state, in like a touristy part of the state where there are like hundreds of lakes right near me and lots of resorts, and it's an awesome part to live in.
There really is. I have to say that one time when I visited Amy, the whole ride home from the airport, I kept saying like, "Oh, look at that pretty lake. Look at that pretty lake. Oh, look at that pretty lake." And finally she was like, "Joyner, can you shut up? We have 10,000 lakes in this state and you can't keep commenting on all of them."
Yes, it is the land of 10,000 lakes. So I currently work in early intervention. I do primarily birth to 3 and some preschool, and the birth to 3 early intervention is typically home visiting, and I'm not doing that now because of COVID, but I've been virtual since last March, and I've actually been loving it a ton, and I'm into green screen and all kinds of things like that.
She's very into her green screen, guys. It's real good.
There's currently a green screen behind her as we are talking.
There is a green screen behind me. It might be a bit of a problem. Yes. Anyway, so yes, I love that part of my job currently. And I also really like parent coaching and working on how to incorporate speech and language tasks into daily routines and giving families some ideas of things to work on. And let's see, about myself, I am married and have 3 kids and 3 dogs. So I just one-upped you, Joyner.
She's a classic one-upper, as you guys will learn.
Classic. Mm-hmm. Classic.
Yeah, I also work full-time and you don't. So I will just keep one-upping you if you're interested. I can do it all night long.
I literally never text that I'm tired because I only have 1 child.
And I will text
like,
that I am tired,
Amy.
and Amy will just remind me that she has 1 more of everything than I have.
Yes. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers that. 3 kids, 3 dogs. My kids are 6, 4, and 2. It's busy. It's crazy. Yeah, that's pretty
way
much
more
it.
busier than my life.
So much more busy.
I'm like the not busy person over here.
Why don't you go ahead,
do
Lazy?
Lazy.
Go for it, Lazy.
I'm Lazy, and I'm Brittany. No. Here I am clearing my throat again. I really got to get better at this.
Don't anyone dare sing that song.
Okay, so I'm Brittany, and I live in Missouri. Originally from Illinois, but in Missouri now. And I am also married to the best guy on the planet. Also, somebody helping us editing these podcasts, so shout out to him. We have 1 baby boy who's 8 months old, and he's awesome and so much fun. And I currently work part-time, which is perfect for my new mommy life that I've been experiencing. And I'm part-time at a children's hospital. I do mainly outpatient, but we do cover inpatient whenever that is needed. So anyway, mainly outpatient. Because we have an on-com team and a feeding team, I see anyone without that like target population. My main focus is apraxia of speech, but I see anything from autism, Down syndrome, early language, early intervention, severe articulation phonology, you name it. That's what we get in our outpatient facility. My favorite is apraxia, though, and any type of severe articulation and phonology. Those are my favorite kiddos to see. I think that's about it. Have a great husband, great kid. I get to work part-time and live really close to where I work, which is also a plus. And love life here in Missouri.
Nice.
So,
I guess
how did we all...
I never mentioned that I have a husband. I guess I should say hi to him. I have one too.
You should say hi to Ponytail.
But then Amy's going to say that she has 2 husbands and make up some.
I have more. Good luck.
I have more husbands than you do.
I have more husbands, so good luck, because I have more husbands than you do.
I'm busier than you.
I'm busier and so have more husbands than you do. I think we never touched on why we became speech pathologists.
Great question.
Yeah, because that's in another episode. That's why.
Oh. Well, stay tuned, folks.
Next, stay tuned.
So we'll just cut that part out, because this
episode is called Friendship, Joyner.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're only talking about friendship and our tattoos and how we met.
All right.
Yeah.
Fine.
So how did we meet each other?
Tim, cut all that out.
Yeah,
cut
that out. Oh, cut it.
I'm just leaving.
So how did we meet?
Well, we met in grad school. We all went to grad school in a tiny little town in Missouri, and it was a fantastic, magical place.
The best place ever.
Was it?
It really was.
I don't think I've ever cried harder than when I drove away from that town. Mm-hmm. And everyone I talked to who went there, it's just the best.
There's
best time of my life.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
There is something special about it. It's just this little farm Missouri town that is, you get to meet some of your closest friends. And yeah, it was a special town. Do you remember our storybook goodbye when we all ate breakfast together for one last time at a diner, and then one by one drove away while the rest of us just waved and cried like it was like the end of a movie?
Stood by the highway. I think I was the first one to
I
was the first one to leave.
Yeah.
Because I had to drive really far, and that was terrible.
I vividly remember that. It was terrible.
It was so terrible. There's a picture of all the grad girls standing bawling at the side of the highway, waving as I was driving.
It was like
away.
the end of a rom-com.
Like the season finale of Friends.
Yeah, season finale of some friendship show, where people were like, that never really happens. And there we were.
Nope.
It was.
Really
it was a weird
because it was so symbolic of remember how we had a bachelorette party for ourselves because we were celebrating our last time, our last night as just being college kids. Yeah, I know it was grad school, which was no joke, of course, but remember we had a crazy party. We all wore sashes. Everybody.
We all
had
sashes
nicknames.
because we said it was the end of our college career, and so we had a bachelorette party before we became adults in the world.
Before we had to be professional.
Yeah. So it was really symbolic of that is totally over. We got, extra time in college going to graduate school. And then it was nope. Okay, here you go. No more theme parties every weekend.
Right.
So,
well,
anyway, we met in grad school.
Some of us stopped, I guess. Some of us didn't, but.
Maybe I think this is a good spot to maybe talk about we named the podcast Cup of Counsel, right?
Oh,
spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when the three of us, all of our grad girls were close, and the three of us didn't really become really close until after we graduated from grad school. And when we started to talk more often, we ended up just making a text thread between the three of us, and we named it the Counsel because we go to each other for pretty much everything. If there's a problem, or just to complain about something or get advice or whatever, we just would text each other. So we decided to call ourselves the Counsel.
I think one day I came up with it because it was something that it was an everyday thing for us to just text each other and ask, anything. It was like, I called Amy today about advice on a dog. And then because Brittany doesn't have any because she's lazy. And
I have 3 dogs, so I'm expert here.
So I'm the expert.
So she wins.
No, we're experts in nothing. Don't forget.
We're experts in nothing. That's
we're
right.
not experts.
And so I one day was like, I was thinking about it, and I think I just said to someone, like, I need to ask the council this. And because that's what they were to me, it was like in a group text all the time, anything. It had speech related, what I was going to do with a kid, what I was going to do with an adult, anything in terms of speech pathology, but not even that. It was just anything about life. Like, what should I do about this? Oh my God, what should we do about this? And we've had hard things that we've all gone through, really hard things that we've gone through, and simple things that we've gone through. And no matter what, we would always ask each other. And so it became my and our council.
So we thought it was really important to have the council piece as a part of our podcast name because that means a lot to us. We wanted to share that with others. And then whenever we're together after we don't live in the same state, so we see each other, once or twice a year. We have planned trips, not recently, of course, but every time we leave those trips, we always say that our cups were filled. So it kind of just came together, and that was how we came up with the name.
Cup of Council.
And
it's catchy.
As you see our symbol, it's a schwa, which is an
Yes.
upside down E. And then Joyner had that great idea to put the little coffee mug hook on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what our symbol means. And let's talk about why a schwa. Why do we have a schwa?
Yeah, because if you're not familiar with phonetics and speech profession in general, you would have absolutely no idea probably what that means. So we should probably explain that.
Yeah.
Oh, and it ties into the title of this episode, matching tattoos.
It ties into all of this. It's all coming full circle, you people who were like, they said they were talking about tattoos. We're like 10 minutes into this and I haven't heard a single thing about a tattoo.
Not a single word about a tattoo.
Not a single word.
Okay, so here, we're coming. It's coming. Okay, so a schwa, the upside down E symbol, is in phonetics, which is how we as speech pathologists transcribe or write down how something sounds when someone is talking. So the schwa is a phonetic symbol for an unstressed vowel, typically in like a 2 to 3 to 4 syllable word. And it just is it's marking the unstressed syllable. So we have always said we're unstressed when we're together. So that is how we came up with the idea to get matching schwa tattoos.
While we were on a trip to visit Joyner when her first baby was born.
Yes. So we talked about it ahead of time, right? We had a whole plan that we were going to do this on that trip. And we went to visit Joyner in Ohio after her first baby was born. And one of the goals of the trip was to get this tattoo. And that's kind of a funny story too. Right?
Yeah. Right. Trying to take babies into a tattoo shop is definitely going to turn into a funny
Doesn't work, y'all.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It could be a funny story.
In case anyone's wondering, children in a tattoo shop, it's not typically allowed.
It's pretty frowned
I think
upon.
I did not have my child yet, and I think I was the one sent into the shop to be like, hi, so we have an infant, like a newborn, and then a toddler. Is that okay? Is that, you guys cool with that? And they were like, no, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No children allowed. And this was 11 o'clock on a Friday. And we had Joyner, one of your girlfriends was with us, right. And we talked about not bringing in the kids, and then decided that was not a good idea. So I think we just went to lunch, decided we would get it later, and then Joyner's husband was awesome and babysat all night while we went out.
He did. He said, all right, we got all the babies to bed and got them all snuggled. And then he said, why don't you girls go ahead and head out? And so we went to dinner and it worked out.
Went to the tattoo
shop.
It worked
out. We went to go to a tattoo shop and got to be fun and wild and get matching tattoos.
Except
they're not all matching.
Oh, here we go.
They're not all matching.
Oh, here we go.
All right, here we go. So we sat for a while, remember waiting in the little waiting area, and the guy was like, okay, so what font? What font do you want of this upside down E? So we had to decide on a font, and we decided on a font. He drew it. We said, yep, that looks great. And Brittany went first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I went next. And then, so we had ours, and then it was Joyner's turn, and he was like, okay, all right, you're up. And she was like, I just have one change, and handed him like a different slip of paper that had a whole different font. So Brittany and I have matching
Sitting there
tattoos.
bleeding with our new tattoo.
We're like,
bleeding
you
in friendship.
have got to be kidding me. You decided at the last minute to get a whole different font.
It's so Joyner. It's just like Joyner, though.
It's totally something that, it just fits.
There's going to be a day
situation.
that I'm going to get that matching tattoo, even more matching
She
than it is.
keeps saying she's going to get it removed and then get a new one, but
I'm just going to.
Haven't seen it yet, you people.
She's never lived this down.
I have not lived this down.
I'm just not going to. But
so that's our picture on our Facebook cover. Is that right? Yeah, is our where we put them. So mine's on my ankle. Amy is on your wrist, and Joyner on your rib,
my rib
cage. So yeah,
yeah,
it was a fun night.
So fun. It was so fun. Yeah, I remember coming back and like a lot of my coworkers were like, "Did you do it? Did you get it?" Like I did. So it's really fun when other SLPs, which to our people who don't know what that means, that's speech language pathologist. I say that a lot to Tim, and he's my husband, and he's always like, "What are you saying? What?" So anyway, when SLPs see it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, do you have a schwa on your ankle?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." With my BFFs.
Yeah, it's such a good story. I love it when people notice and ask to get to tell them that story.
It is a good one. Yeah, it was a good time.
One other thing we should probably touch on is why the hell are we even doing this podcast? Like, why do we think we should do a podcast, or where did that come from? Because this was definitely not something on any of our minds, right?
No, not at all.
No, not after this crazy year, and a new baby joined us and lots of changes happened for all of us. And then we're like, hey, you guys want to make a podcast? All we have to do is talk. Like every weekend we just talk, and it's a lot. It's a lot more than that, guys.
Just in case you're curious.
Just in case, but we're getting by.
We are.
So, Amy, tell us who inspired us about this podcast.
Yeah. So I was working one day, probably a month ago, maybe a little bit over a month ago. And I got a text from my mom, like one of those dreaded texts that says, "Call me," in the middle of the workday.
Yeah, those are the worst texts from anyone. If you get that from anyone, it's like, oh God, what?
Yeah. My mom always will be like, "Call me if you have a chance, ... And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Like, I just am eating a sandwich and was just wondering if you are too.
So I got that text from my mom, and I wasn't in a session. So I called her, and she was like, "Hey, you and Brittany and Joyner should do a podcast." I was like, what? Just completely came out of nowhere. And she was like, "You guys talk all the time. You're really funny. You have a lot of really good topics that people could relate to and talk about, from your speech things to your parenting things and friendship and all this stuff. I think that you guys should do a podcast." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yep. All right. That is a good idea. I don't know anything about a podcast, but okay." And then we had one of our video calls that we do, and I brought it up, and then we talked about it more, and we were like, okay, all right.
I think it was more.
Here we go.
Can we describe how that really happened?
I think it was more like you said, "Guys, we should do a podcast." And I was like, and Brittany's like, "All right, yeah, we should do a podcast."
Yeah.
And then the two of you were like, "Yeah, let's do a podcast." And I was still like,
okay, that's maybe more accurate.
And then it was like,
yes,
"Here's this invitation to our podcast." And I was still like,
and I was like, "Hey, here's a meeting with a podcast creator. Here's our website." And Joyner's like, oh, this is happening.
"Oh, we're doing a podcast."
Yeah.
Okay. And that's kind of more how it went. But
we convinced you. We
did.
It was what, circle full back. That is what your friends are for, is to push you and believe in you and do things together and have a great time while doing it, while making you a better person. And that is what these girls are for me. And that's what I hope for anyone else.
And I think that's what our tattoos symbolize too, is we all have kind of the same ones, but in different places. So, and then Joyner's is that different font. So we're always like, here's our decision. This is what we're going to do. And then Joyner last minute is like, wait, I got to change it. But we're all still
because the whole time I was together. Probably even with the tattoo, like you guys were like, we should get matching tattoos. And I was like, and then we were outside a tattoo shop and I was like, okay.
Oh, this is actually happening. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're doing this.
And Amy and I are like, let's go. I think you described it like running into a pond in a cartoon, and Amy and I like zoom by like Roadrunner style, and Joyner's the turtle that gets knocked over and is just like spinning on the back of her shell. Like, hey, hold on, guys.
What just happened?
And then it's more like,
I guess we're doing this.
And it's like, you guys are like, go. And I'm like, wait. Okay, go. Okay, we'll go.
Here we go.
Let's do it. Yeah, because in the end, you always are like, yep, we're doing this. This is good, blah, blah, blah. But we just have to wait for you to come around. That's just how it is. And we kind of know that.
We can talk about the why behind this in our astrology episode.
Oh,
y'all.
That's going to be a good one, guys. I have really gotten into, Brittany's really introduced astrology to us, and it has changed my world because it describes me so well. I'm also into the anagram. That's been the new thing I'm into too, and that's described a lot about me. So those are really good topics too that we'll be hitting on, which are really fun and are just informative, not even to do with speech therapy, but informative, which will be fun. But yes, Brittany will be able to very much describe why we are the way we are, which is very comforting for me.
So I think we touched on all of our subjects, ladies. We introduced ourselves, how we met. We have matching tattoos, why we're called Cup of Counsel, and why we're doing a podcast.
Wait, we're doing a podcast?
Shout out Amy's mom. We're doing a podcast. Joyner, you're here. This is what this microphone is for.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to wrap up every episode by talking about what's in our to-go cups. And this is going to be just what we took away from this episode. And maybe it's what you took out of the episode also, or maybe you have a different thing in your to-go cup. So we're just going to each go through, what we are leaving with today in our to-go cup. So Brittany, what's in your to-go cup?
And my to-go cup is just a teeny bit of Chardonnay now. And just a full cup. My heart is full. I'm super excited, like reflecting back on our friendship. That makes me like feel so good to talk about that. It's been 11 years of this. And every time we say it, that we've been long distance friends for 11 years, that is significant. That's not typical, I don't think.
No.
So I guess in my to-go cup is just a full heart and happiness.
That's lovely.
What's in your to-go cup, Joyner? Thanks. Amy hates it, I know it. She's like staring at me.
Just wait for it. She's trying to one-up us all anyway. So do your best.
We'll talk about it during the astrology episode. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll find out more about that.
I'll explain why.
When we explain why.
Thanks.
In my real cup, I have a cab, and it is the Costco box wine, which I will recommend to anyone.
Shout out Costco. Thank you. You can get anything you need at Costco. I don't know.
So
we're allowed to say that.
You can get yourself some good Costco wine. That's what is in my real cup. In my other metaphorical cup, I am really taking with me the fact of not ever feeling alone. I not only because I have children around me all the time, but I don't, even in the moments, we live states away from each other, hours in driving away from each other. And I truly feel like, thanks to devices and technology, I truly feel, and even if we didn't have that, there's a connection where I don't ever feel like I'm alone. And there have been times that we have gone through things that have been tough, and times that I've just wanted advice on the silliest of things, or just to send a picture of me looking crazy and say, look at what I look like today. I don't ever feel alone, even though they are miles and miles and miles away. And I feel like that is very special in any friendship. And if you can have that, then I think the thing that is in my to-go cup is how special it is to feel like you always have your people and you are never alone when you have them. So Amy, what's in your to-go cup?
Beautiful.
I am drinking a local brew today, actually. And this is it's from Roundhouse. I have gratitude in my cup for the fact that I have two people that I can be brutally honest with, and I know that they'll be brutally honest with me, and we won't. Joyner's giving me a certain look.
That's for sure.
And like, it's a place to go where there's
stories to come.
There's a place, it's honestly, for real, a safe space to go where there's no judgment. Even if there is judgment, like, you'll know there's judgment, but then it's okay.
And there's sometimes
a lot of judgment. However, the beautiful thing is, like, we will never, even though some of us might be afraid that this may end because of how honest they can be. Might be talking about myself here.
Yeah, I was going to say. What?
But okay. I know that, like, you're not going to throw me out, right? Like, we can talk about anything. We
haven't yet, and it's been pretty harsh.
Like, we can just be honest with each other. And I think that not a lot of people have that. Like, I know if there's anything I might be embarrassed about or questioning or something, like, I can say it to the two of you. And even if it maybe makes you angry, like, you are still going to love me and it's going to be fine and we can talk it through and whatever. So I'm grateful to have something like that where I'm not afraid to say what I need to say or what I want to say. And yeah.
Friendship's great.
All right. Thank you so much for listening today.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you liked what you heard, please hit subscribe or follow so you know each time a new episode is posted.
Please do us a giant favor and join our Facebook group and follow our Instagram page, Cup of Counsel Podcast. A review would really help us out too.
Let us know what you loved, what you want to hear more about, and what we could do to improve this podcast to make it the most meaningful for you. Thank you.